There we go. I will pass over the mic and say thank you again, everybody, for being with us today. And Jody, I will pass the mic over to you for the overview.
Perfect. Thank you, Colleen. I'm just going to share my screen here. Are you seeing the right one?
We are. That looks great.
Perfect. So welcome, everybody. Hello, my name again is Jody Frank. I'm the organics coordinator here with the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District. Firstly, I would just like to acknowledge that the work we're doing in Port Alberni here is within the traditional territories of the Hupecheset and Tishat First Nations communities. We're so thankful to be here today and have the opportunity to work with these First Nations communities collaboratively with the new project that we're bringing on board. As you are probably aware already, which is why you're here, is that the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District is delivering a new organics collection program for the city of Port Alberni. So in today's presentation and the time that we have with you today, we're going to cover and go over why this is necessary for our community, where we're at with the program, what's coming up, what you need to know in preparation for the launch and for the new 3-stream waste service that's coming this September. So considerable work has been done and undertaken over the past year to prepare us for this new service, including, I don't know if you've been out to the landfill in the last little while, but there are significant upgrades going on in that space to help us prepare for the launch, including expanding the diversion areas and different areas to help facilitate, like I said, organics and the 3-stream project. So before we get started, I'd like to thank you again for being here this afternoon and for being involved. Your engagement really is so important and helps ensure that the best decisions are being made for Port Alberni residents. I look forward to hearing and answering any questions you might have in the Q&A portion of the presentation. So with that being said, so I'll just give you a little bit of an overview when we talk about the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District's organic diversion plan. So a few years ago, we applied for a grant, and so that's really helped supporting the regional diversion program. So it's not just the city of Port Alberni, it's the other subregions that make up the ACRD as well. We're starting with phase 1, which is the city of Port Alberni. And so what that will include is single family households. So basically, if you receive city service at the moment, you'll continue to receive city service. It will not look at multifamily units. So anything larger than a 4-plex currently will be out of scope of this phase of the project. So this project, like we mentioned, also includes not only bringing on board organics collection, but upgrades to the Alberni landfill. So that's really just to help improve the tipping areas and diversion access. And we're also looking at renaming the landfill as well. So keep your ears out there for the new renaming ceremony for the landfill. We're looking at beginning the program. Well, we're not looking at it, it's happening, September 2021. So first day of the new collection will happen September 13th. So that's the Monday of September 2021. So after we've implemented with the city of Port Alberni, we're going to move to the West Coast. So as you know, the West Coast, Tofino and Yuki area has a huge tourist component to it. So we're really looking at capturing a lot of the residential as well as the commercial waste that are going through those communities. So that program we're looking at implementing fall 2022. So basically a year after City of Port Alberni. That will also include landfill upgrades as well as the construction of organics processing facility. Phase 3 of the project, we'll come back to the Alberni Valley and look at the electoral areas and see what options may exist for those communities as well as Bamfield. So the why. So I think this infographic really does a great job of kind of pulling it all together. When you look at the first image there of the trash bag, the garbage bag, we look at the composition. And it's a really important piece because when we look at, you know, garbage as a whole, we've done a number of different studies that tell us that approximately 25% of what we're throwing away right now is recyclable material. 25 to 50% of that is organic or compostable material. And then the remaining of that is garbage, so items that can't be diverted. At the moment, and over the last, you know, 3 or 4 years, our diversion rate since we brought on recycling has been hovering around that 20% range. We have a goal to increase that to about 50%. And in order to do that, we really need to pull those organics and compostable items out of our garbage and divert them. So that's leading us to that goal number 1, which is increasing that waste diversion rate from 20 to 50%. So by adding the regular curbside compost pickup alongside the recycling program, we really have a great opportunity to achieve those targets. The second goal is to reduce our waste per person per year. So at the moment, the average Port Alberni resident disposes 589 kilograms of waste per year. The province has a goal of 350, and the ACRD has set a goal of 400 kgs per person per year. So again, by adding that organics diversion, we really have the opportunity to achieve that 400 kg per person per year target. That leads us into goal 3. So if we were to get to that 400 kg per person, we have the opportunity to expand our landfill expectancy to 35 years. So right now, based on our current generation rate, we have about 66 years left of landfill life. By moving down to that 400 kg per person target, we can add, you know, an additional 35 plus years. So when we look at the little people in our life, our future generations, that's where it's really going to impact them. We live on an island. It's really hard to just go dig another landfill. And a lot of the other communities only have capacity to take their own waste. There's one community on the island that actually has to ship their waste off to the mainland into the States, which is a really expensive, from a taxpayer perspective, option. So we don't really want to go down that route. And then it leads us to our 4th goal, and that's to reduce our greenhouse gas production. So at the moment, we're getting really close to our maximum threshold of greenhouse gas emissions. And I know we hear, you know, greenhouse gas is a lot, and it's hard to really work our heads around because we can't see it, but it's in the atmosphere, and it's really a dangerous thing. So the province is soon going to mandate, you know, if we don't pull those organic materials out that are decomposing and causing the emissions, if we don't pull those out now by a simple, you know, curbside program, we're going to have to implement a gas capture system, which is an extremely costly solution. So, you know, as a community doing our part, we really can save our taxpayers and our residents that financial burden of the gas capture system. So with that being said, some other benefits are, at the moment, the city currently operates an automatic garbage collection system, which I'm sure you're aware of. So they have split compartment trucks already. So that means that they can collect multiple streams of waste in one truck. So if you've ever driven behind it, you can see it's kind of divided in a 60-40 split, and it has that 12-foot arm extension, which means it can, you know, go out 12 feet and pick up one cart and then do it again and put garbage on one side and organics in the other, or recycling and organics. And the benefits of that is that it's collecting multiple streams at once with only having one truck on the road, which is another environmental benefit as well. And right now we're only collecting garbage. So it'll be nice to expand that service as well. And the city staff will be collecting the 3 streams, which is nice that it's staying with the city service. Also, right now with recycling, it's manual. Waste industry is moving away from manual collection. When you think of there's a gentleman that's collecting it right now. He collects over 800 houses a day. So when you think most people put out 1 bin, maybe 2 or 3, he's out there manually emptying each of those bins himself. So from a waste industry perspective, the standard is that we're moving away from that manual collection and going more to this automatic system. Some other benefits that we can talk about today is that we've had the opportunity to put out some requests for proposals, and we've awarded contracts to some local suppliers. So Roland's Machinery, we're working with them to supply the new carts. They also provided the garbage carts when we rolled that out many years ago in Port Alberni. So they're based on the island in Chemainus. So that's a really great benefit, as well as Earthland and Sea will be doing the organics processing. So I'm sure you're aware, they have a gravel mart in the Tebow location. They've been composting for years now, and their facility is based just way past out Ship Creek Road there. So they're nice and far away, so no smells or anything to worry about. So when we talk about the when, we can discuss next steps. So like I mentioned, the launch is scheduled for early September. So first collection, we're looking at the week of the 13th. You'll start to see the delivery of carts happen beginning to mid-August. So with collection not happening to the 13th, we're just asking, don't start using your carts until we get closer to that first collection date of September 13th. You'll see continued education. We've been putting bits and pieces out there since the beginning of the year. We'll continue to do so and be there as a resource for you as far as education is concerned. We'll continue to put information out there to sort of help you along the way. What to expect. So the new collection schedule, what's going to happen is that waste is going to move to bi-weekly, alternating with your recycling. And then organics is going to happen on a weekly basis. So when you look at all the smelly food waste bits that typically would go in your garbage, we're taking those out and putting those in your green bin, which is why we're moving to the weekly collection. It also follows the standards that a lot of other similar programs have done as well. So it just gets those smelly food items out of your cart on a weekly basis. What you can expect with the delivery of carts. So like I said, if you receive city service now, you'll continue to receive city service, and you'll receive a new green cart and a recycling cart. So they're a 240-liter cart with plenty of room for all your recycling and your organics material. You'll receive a program guide. So this will include sorting information and all the different bits of information you'll need to know to participate in the program. You'll also receive a kitchen buddy. So I have one here for you. This little guy can go under your kitchen sink or sit on your counter, and it's going to collect all your food scraps and bits and pieces to make things a little bit easier. And then you can just take that out to your green cart in your yard. Organics carts will also be bear proofed with the same mechanism that most of you should have on your garbage carts. So it's certified by WildSafe BC. We've also created some really neat decals to remind residents to keep carts secure, to keep the bears out in the wildlife. So different ways that you can help. So most importantly, following the sorting guide. So just understanding what can go in the cart. So different than backyard composting, this program can accept fats, oils, meats, dairies, different types of, did I say greases? So all sorts of food products that typically can't go in your backyard composting. Another piece is that we won't be accepting plastic bags. So that includes bags even labeled compostable. Compostable labels aren't regulated at the moment, which means that they don't necessarily break down completely. So when you go to buy compost, just think if you had plastic bits in your compost, would you want to put that in your garden? Probably not. So we are just asking that compostable bags do not go in the green cart. Liners aren't necessarily needed in the organics cart, but if they are used, we're just asking that you use paper bags. So yard waste bags are a great alternative to line your large cart outside. There's also the smaller size that can go in that kitchen buddy that I did show you. So those are alternative options, cardboard boxes lining your cart with material like that. But yeah, if we can just keep those plastic bags out, that's a really important aspect. And with the paper bags, we've talked to a lot of hardware stores around town, and they will all have some form of product to make available to the residents and community. So how you can stay in the know with Sort'nGo. We're really promoting our Sort'nGo ACRD app. This is a really great tool. You can sign up for reminders. So if you're not sure what's happening on your collection day, you forgot whether it's organics and garbage, organics recycling, you can set it so that the night before it lets you know what's happening. You can download your collection calendar based on where you live. We can send out campaigns. So if your garbage truck broke down that day, you'll get automatically notified that your day is being moved to a different day. You can use the Waste Wizard. This is a super great tool. If you're not sure, does it go in the organics cart, or can I recycle this in my cart, or does it go to the depot? You can put in styrofoam and it gives you all the different options, as well as like, a greasy pizza box. It can go in your organics cart. So another really great tool that we're promoting there, as well as to stay up to date with the project and different events that are happening. Based on what we've explained today and other FAQs and forums. For more information, you can go to Let's Connect acrd.ca/organics. You can register to be notified for new information. So another really great tool to use as well. So that takes me to the end of my presentation. I'm going to share a video here for you. And it's just a nice little overview of the upcoming program. And then I'll pass it back to Colleen for question and answers.
This summer, the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District is introducing a new organics pickup and auto cart system for City of Port Alberni residents. This new service will collect organics, such as food and yard waste, and divert it from the landfill to a facility where it will be turned into nutrient-rich compost. This will help extend the life of our landfill and reduce our impact on the environment. The new system will mean changes to how residents sort garbage and how it's placed at the roadside for collection. Here's what you need to know. A new automated collection system means equipment on trucks will pick up and empty carts, rather than crews manually doing it. Residents will receive new carts that will work with the automated system. A green cart for organics, and blue cart for recycling. These will be like the garbage carts that are currently used, only bigger. Put all food scraps, including meat, bones, dairy, and greases, in the green cart, along with soiled paper such as paper towels and pizza boxes. Yard waste, like grass clippings, tree trimmings, and garden waste, can go in the green cart too. Each home will be provided a small kitchen buddy to collect organics inside. Liners are not required, and plastic bags, even those labeled compostable, cannot be used or placed in the organics cart. For those who'd like to have a liner, paper bags, cardboard, or newspaper can be used as a liner for your cart or kitchen buddy. All recycling that is currently collected roadside will still be collected, just using the new blue cart. Continue to make sure materials are placed loose in the carts and not tied up in bags. Items such as hazardous materials, plastic bags, overwrap, and foam packaging cannot be disposed of in your recycling cart. Excess material placed outside of the cart will not be collected. Please continue to take these materials along with excess cardboard to the Recycle BC depots for disposal. Organics will be picked up every week, while garbage and recycling will be collected on alternating weeks. That means 1 week, green and black carts, and the next week, green and blue. Place carts at 1 meter distance apart at the roadside, and make sure all of your items fit inside. No overflow. Organics carts will have bear-proof clips on them that will need to be undone when put at the roadside. This will allow the auto collection trucks to safely and efficiently pick up your bins. And remember, to avoid wildlife interactions, carts are not permitted at the roadside until 7 a.m. You can keep track of the pickup schedule, get weekly reminders, and learn how to dispose of specific items with the Sort'nGo ACRD app. With your help, the new organics pickup and auto cart system will help reduce the amount of waste going to our landfill, reduce greenhouse gases, and keep our region clean. To learn more, visit www.letsconnectacrd.ca/organics.
Thank you, Jody. That was really useful and helpful, and I think probably covered a lot of the questions or information people might have been looking for. So I'm going to move into the Q&A session. If anybody has a question that they would like to share, again, feel free to click on the chat button at the bottom of your Zoom page, and you can type it into the window there, and we'll pose it to Jody. And so while I wait to see if anybody wants to pop anything in for us to follow up on, Jody, I have a couple of questions that have just come into us in advance of today's session that I thought we would start with, if that works for you. So the first question, and one we've probably seen on the Let's Connect page as well a number of times, is from people asking, because they already do backyard composting, kind of how this service can be of use to them.
And that's a great question, and one we have been getting a lot. And as I mentioned in the presentation, so we love the fact that people are backyard composting, and it does do a lot for our diversion. However, there's still a lot of material left in the waste stream, like those items, meat, dairy, fats, oils, greases, that can't go in your backyard composting system, that still make up a significant portion of what we're disposing of in the garbage, as well as like those greasy pizza boxes. Those can be put in your organic bin to be broken down as well. So.
And then also there's kind of the yard waste component also there that's being available.
Yes, so we are providing a 240 liter cart, which is a decent size, and will be great for the summertime. So for gardening, so your harvest, pulling weeds, all that stuff, grass clippings, small branches, whatever fits in your bin and you can still keep it closed, can go in. So grass clippings, leaves, that sort of thing, which saves those trips to the landfill, which is also a benefit.
Great. Okay, so I just had a question come in kind of building on that, which is, what about noxious weeds like morning glory? If those go into the compost bin, is that okay, or should they be kept out?
They should probably be kept out. So right now, if you were to take them to the landfill and if they have to put them in a separate pile, then the same sort of rule of thumb would apply here. If you would typically have to, like I said, put them in a different area at the landfill because they're invasive or dangerous. Because basically once you put that compost, once it's broken down and it's that compost material, and you know, I have random potatoes that grow in my garden based on old compost. So I think with those things, we want to keep out just to be on the safe side.
Okay, so another question that came in beforehand, if people are wondering if they're getting a new recycling cart, what they should do with their blue bins that are currently being used for recycling.
Another good question. So those blue bins are great for repurposing. I like to haul my firewood in them, or find I've got a number of them for different uses, but if you don't have a use for them, the 3rd Avenue Recycle Depot will be a drop-off site for those blue bins. So if you don't have a secondary use for them, feel free to drop them off at the 3rd Avenue Recycle Depot.
Perfect. And then just a follow-up question about the weeds, is a question of that whether or not the landfill will continue to accept weeds like that after this new organics program is implemented.
So the landfill will continue to accept yard waste just like they do now. So obviously for some properties, you won't be able to fit all of your yard waste into the green cart. So we are still making the landfill an alternative spot for that material.
Great, thank you. And then one other question that came in advance is the opt-out. Will people have the option of opting out of this program?
So the short answer to that is no. It is a mandatory service that all residents currently receiving city service will get. So unfortunately, there's no opt-out service. We need everyone to do their part and divert as much as possible. So it is a mandatory service.
Okay, well, those are all the questions that I had in advance, and I am not seeing any other questions being written into the chat. I'm going to kind of make another call there. If anybody wants to add another question there, now is a great time to do so. I'm going to just share my screen one more time here that has the follow-up contact information for you to make note of. If you have any other questions after we finish up today, please feel free to reach out. We are absolutely committed to trying to provide as much information as possible in advance of September, and then even afterwards, to make sure everyone feels well prepared for this program as it rolls out. And if you know of other people who have questions about the program, we hope that you would share it. The Let's Connect ACRD page is where the recording of this session will be posted. So we can obviously reference it from that point, and others can look at it when they have the time and are able to join. And I guess just in case the chat is the thing that's stopping people, if there's anybody who wanted to just raise a question verbally, and you could always use your raise hand icon, and I can unmute you, but I think that we have covered off all the topics. So I'm not going to use up any more of people's time than need be. Jody, did you have anything else you want to add before we say our goodbyes?
No, other than thank you again for taking the time to attend this session. The more champions we have in our community to help educate and just relay this information that we passed on to you today, the better. And like Colleen mentioned, feel free to send us an email, sort'ngo@acrd.bc.ca, or there's also the 250-736 SORT hotline. I guess we could call it a hotline. But yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any lingering questions after this presentation, or if you have any neighbors that have opinions on the matter as well, feel free to send them my way. But thank you again for your time today.
Thank you, Jody, for your time as well. Thank you for joining us, everybody, and have a great rest of your afternoon.